is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
He was very off-put by me when he first met me.
What do you mean?
Because he thought I was a cisgender man.
Yeah.
So,
we were having dinner with another friend and he was there, and he'd only known me to be with women before. So I show up with Grayson, and he's like, it's a very flamboyant person. So like, he was acting all macho and weird. I'm like, what is going on with you?
Your friend was?
Yeah.
The donor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so, because you're with a dude. Welcome, all you beautiful, beautiful people, to the Queer Family Podcast, the show all about family, but with gay. My name is Jaimie. I'm your host, your gay host. And this is the show that celebrates, highlights, uplifts, and normalizes LGBTQIA plus families in all of our beautiful identities. And let me tell you something. This episode does not disappoint on that front. I mean, none of the episodes do, really. But this one is great. And I'm going to tell you why. I got to sit down with Megan and Grayson. Megan is currently pregnant with their first kiddo. They used a known donor with an at-home fertility kit. Megan also happens to have cerebral palsy. So we talk a little bit about what that's been like for Megan. And Grayson happens to be a transgender male. So we talk a bit about that. And also, I just want to say that this Wednesday, if you're listening in real time, this Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, happens to be Transgender Day of Remembrance. So I think we should all take a moment this Wednesday to remember the transgender folks throughout history who have been hurt or lost their lives or had to fight for their rights, and those who still are having to fight for their rights. And with the current situation and the new regime that is coming in and all the new appointments we hear that Trump is making to his cabinet, it's not looking too bright for those of us in the LGBTQIA community, specifically in the trans community. And so the Trans Day of Remembrance is a very important day for all of us to take notice of. On that note as well, I've been in a bit of a funk, as I'm sure many of you have ever since the election results came in. It's been tough. All I want to do is lay down with my dog. Oh, Kira has a fun moment in this episode too, that if you're watching the video, you'll see it, but you're also going to hear it. Kira was making shenanigans while I was interviewing these folks. But so make sure you stay tuned to hear that part. You know, I've been trying to think, okay, how can I cheer myself up? What can I do? And what I keep coming down to is action. What action steps can I take to help me out of my funk and then also help my community, the LGBTQ community? What can we do? So I follow somebody named Jaimie Senna. And actually, we were in talks a long time ago about them coming on, and I don't know what happened. They didn't come on. But anyway, they just put up a post with some really wonderful actionable steps. And I just want to share some of them with you, because there are things we should probably do to make sure that if shit hits the fan for our community, we are ready as we can possibly freaking be, right? So the first thing that Jaimie Senna said we should make sure we do is to check our identity documents and make sure they have the right gender markers on them. Do it now. Do everything now. If you want to do a name change, do it now. U.S. passports currently allow for a non-binary X gender marker, and this may get rolled back in the new regime. So we might be entering an era where having non-binary gender marker exposes you to more potential harassment, discrimination, or other risks. So just act in a way that feels best for you. I actually have some friends with a transgender kiddo who has just disclosed that they think they want to change their name, but they were going to do this in a slower way. They're not going to go by the new name yet. It's just in the making, but they're going to go and they're going to change that passport now, because they might not be able to do it later on. So, just take these things into account. Also, we're talking about second parent adoption and all the things. If you can get a court order, a birth certificate, and/or a driver's license affirming your gender and chosen name, do so as soon as possible. So all the gender markers, get it done, get it done, get it done. And when it comes to marriage, if you are already married in the United States of America, it is very unlikely that will be rolled back. So you don't have to go get remarried. Like, we're going to be good. Even if the Freedom to Marry Act is impacted, These changes are not going to occur overnight. And if you are afraid and considering getting legally married, take the time to think through all of the automatic rights and responsibilities that come with marriage. So we got to do a lot of due diligence here. We need to dot our I's and cross our T's, or whatever that saying is. Now, if you have not gotten a judgment to protect your parentage, like second parent adoption or a parentage judgment, do it now. A birth certificate, I've said this many times on the show, a birth certificate, even with your name listed as a parent, will not necessarily protect you fully. Some states may require a marriage to provide the adoption. Others have different options based on different marital statuses. So if you have already gotten the judgment, make sure you have a certified copy somewhere safe and accessible. I actually have to go do that and make sure I know exactly where their adoption certificates are, because we adopted each of our kids because one of us gave birth to one. The court order of adoption or parentage is final and binding, no matter what happens in the future around marriage. The full faith and credit clause of the U.S. Constitution should require that judgment be recognized in every state in the country. So just get it done, get it done. If you have sperm, eggs, or embryos in the freezer, consult with a fertility lawyer in the state where they are cryopreserved to determine if any extra protections need to be put in place. So we got to think about those things too. If your genetic material is frozen in California, double check your clinic forms and make sure that they are clear on what would happen to it in the event of death or separation. We have to just look up everything and then look into your estate planning. If you don't have a will, you might want to get one, because you never know what could happen in the next regime. And if something happens to you or your spouse, or you never know if the donor's parents are going to come in and try to claim ownership of your kid. Who knows? So let's do due diligence and protect our families. And last but not least, this season will be coming to a close in December. And then I will be starting a whole new season. And I am going to try to focus on trans folks as much as I can to make sure that those stories are told. And I'm also going to try to focus on the helpers that we need to help protect our families, because I have a feeling shit's going to hit the fan when that person enters that Oval Office. So if you know, or if you are a lawyer who helps with LGBTQIA issues, especially pertaining to families, please reach out. And if you know anybody, therapists, we need therapists. If you know therapists who are, everybody reach out. All the helpers, reach out, because I want to talk to you. And I want to make sure that we all know what to do if things get gnarly. Okay, that's about it. On that high note, it is fun though. These two are a lot of fun. You're going to have a great time. And Kira makes a fun appearance. So Helen, Beulah, Jerson, please roll this beautiful, beautiful tape. And remember, you are beautiful. You are loved. And we're going to make it through this. We got this. We can do this. I love you. Mwah. All right. See you on the other side.
Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Hi, Megan and Grayson.
Hi.
Hi.
It is lovely to have you here.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
Where are you coming in from?
Florida. Tallahassee, Florida.
Tallahassee, Florida. Interesting. Oh, I feel like there might be a story with that, but I don't know. We're going to get into this.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Okay, you know what? Let's just do this. We got to do this 30-second elevator pitch so the audience can learn who you are and why you're here talking on the Queer Family Podcast. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Okay, on your mark, get set, go.
My name's Megan, and this is my husband, Grayson. We are the Aquist. I have cerebral palsy, and he doesn't really have any disabilities except ADHD. And I am almost 32 weeks pregnant. We used a known donor. That is pretty much us. We've known each other for going on 14 years, and we've been together 3 and married about 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. So the marriage is new.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm transgender, and
Yep.
she's cisgender.
Transgender and cisgender. Boom. You did it in under 30 seconds, and then I interrupted. So good job. We have a lot to talk about here. So I was going to ask why you used a donor, but I think I know why now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you are one of us queer families over there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Two uteruses don't really work out.
No, they don't. I mean, they work out great, and it's a really wonderful combination. However, not when it comes to making babies, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
at least.
No.
You've known each other how long?
Going on 14 years.
Wow. Can we go back and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and learn about kind of your path to love?
for sure.
We met on like just a social media site back then, and we kind of dated briefly, and the long distance kind of got in the way. We broke up.
I got married to someone else.
She
Wasn't
she got
expecting that.
married.
Yeah, I was married to a woman for 6 years.
Oh,
After a messy divorce and messy relationship, we decided to give it another shot, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
oh, wait.
Uh-huh.
After the divorce, then you two decided.
Yeah,
all right, let's
yeah.
go for it.
We'd stayed friends for years. We never really stopped communicating. Like, we were friends.
And Grayson, had you transitioned already, or like, what is the situation regarding how you showed up in the world
Give
when
her
you
your
met?
time.
Yeah. yeah. Like a year before her and I got together, I had kind of came out as trans just to her and like my sister and like a couple other friends. But I still wasn't really sure, and I didn't want to fully come out until I'd figured out what name I wanted to go by.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of just put it on hold because like we had started talking about getting back together and stuff like that, like after, the separation and all that. And we had been together for about
A few
6, 7
It wasn't
months at the
long.
time. And she was visiting me because I lived in Michigan at that point.
Oh,
And I came home from work and she was awake after sleeping all day. And I was like, I want to fully transition. Like, I want to go through the whole process. And she was like, okay.
Well, this is after him mentioning it to me like a year before, and then just kind of it fell off, and he
Yeah.
didn't mention it again. And I would kind of check up on him and be like, hey, like, what are we doing here? And then he finally, like, one day was like, okay, I think I'm going to actually do this. And I was like, okay.
I think a lot of it was like fear of what people would think, because, I'm in my 30s and
mm-hmm.
being from a small town, there's definitely small town mentality where people can be a little ignorant about it. But
Yeah.
I think I was more accepted up in Michigan than I am down here in Tallahassee, or Florida in general. But,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida's been hard.
It has been.
Really?
Uh-huh.
hmm
Oh.
It was like as soon as I moved here, a bunch of these anti-trans bills started to pass, like the bathroom situation, which I've been directly affected by,
What has happened with like, have you had moments in the bathroom?
There was one moment, I work with the Florida Department of Corrections, and so I was in the academy and went into the bathroom, and one of my instructors had seen me go into the bathroom, and he essentially called central office down, and they told me that I had two choices: either use the women's restroom or they get me a
Porter potty.
yeah, like a
To
porta
put-
potty.
So he could use it himself.
Yeah.
And no one
God.
knew he was out at this time. Like, no one knew that he was trans. So he had been passing as a male
Yeah.
the entire time.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, you weren't like out as a trans individual.
I just recently got my name legally changed, so I mean back then, unless they saw my first name, they wouldn't have really known,
Right. And you were living as a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, for all
Right.
intents and purposes. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
that's crazy.
It was definitely a tough situation, and it did affect another trans person at my work too, because after that situation, they told my facility, hey, this is what happened. And the facility went to her because she was, male to female, and was like, hey, I mean, I know we have gender neutral bathrooms in the dormitories and stuff like that, but if there are 2 separate bathrooms, you got to use the male bathroom, you know.
And she was years into transition.
It's not okay to make a woman use the men's bathroom. It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
okay.
And vice versa.
And
the
vice
fact-
versa.
And the fact that there's also inmates around because he works for a prison. So,
Right.
you know, that just adds a whole nother layer of things if they see you going into another bathroom.
So what did you end up having to do? We're already derailed because here we are.
Yeah, I was upset about it, and I mean, the classroom had like, I left the room, and I was a mess. Like, I was crying, like, because it just was a very unpleasant experience to have them, you know. And then during that time, they asked me if, I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time. They're like, well, does your girlfriend know that you're transgender? And I'm like, well, you know, I live with her.
Also, none of your business either
Yeah.
way.
Right. So we
Yeah.
got the feeling that if he would have said, I didn't know, then they would have like called and
Outed.
told me, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean,
but-
first of all, they've already just outed you at work, like without your consent, right?
which is not safe.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's in a
essentially,
prison
yeah.
too. Like,
Right. I essentially had to out myself to the classroom after that. I mean, some of them did know because I had told, you know, the couple of people that I talked to regularly, you know, but I'm like, hey, you all are going to see me go into the women's restroom, and, you know, this is why.
oh my God. See, this, like, come on, y'all. Like, if somebody tells you who they are, that's who they are. We're done. Like,
Right.
it's like, we're not.
That's Florida. Like,
Hmm.
Right. There it is. I said there must be stories here. I'm sure there are more, and I'm sure that they're going to come up. Grayson, you transitioned in your 30s, early 30s.
Hmm.
And how did you identify before that, if I may ask?
I identified as a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
I think I came out when I was 20. I
As
was
a
over in
lesbian.
Iraq when I, you know, came out.
Oh.
oh, you got it.
Yeah.
This is like I thought I knew a lot. No, but okay, the plot thick. Okay, talk.
Yeah.
Let's hear this.
Yeah, during the Don't Ask, Don't
Okay.
Tell.
You got,
Oh my
well,
God.
he's a veteran
Yeah,
before he transitioned.
Yeah.
So he was in the army.
yeah, in Iraq.
Mhm.
In Iraq, yeah, I came out as a lesbian.
Okay, in Don't Ask, Don't Tell times.
Yeah.
Which you were pretty young, right? Like,
Yeah, I was 20.
Yeah.
I was 20.
And how'd that go? I'm sure there were a lot of lesbians in the military. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
my roommate, I think she identified as bisexual, but she was dating a trans man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's when I had, you know, being from a small town, like, I didn't really know what transgender was until
Right,
that point,
Yeah,
you know.
because representation matters. How interesting, though, that your representation happened in the U.S. military.
Oh, yeah.
Am
Yeah.
I right?
Oh, yeah.
We tend to think like when they have all these like rules like don't ask, don't tell, and
Hmm.
you know all this bias against transgender people, especially when it comes to the military and like government and things like this. You
Right.
tend to think that it's because that it's not there.
Mhm.
However, it is.
Mhm.
We're everywhere. We really
Right.
are. And it's just the need to keep these things squashed that seems to be like the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, that was kind of, it was right around the time Obama had been elected. So, and then, like, shortly after, I think they repealed that. But
Mhm.
at that point, nobody really cared unless you wanted to use it as an excuse to get out of the military. Then you could go up to somebody and be like, hey, I'm gay.
And then you have to be.
And they'd be like, are you sure you want to go down this road? Yes. Are you positive?
Yeah.
And then they would take the measures to get you. But everybody knew this was your escape route.
Right, yeah.
Did you do that? You didn't do that.
No, I
you were
I
like,
served
yeah.
7 years and got out.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have no idea, but I can only imagine how hard that was or could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had its moments, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for your service. And hopefully, we don't have to do a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So had been living like as a lesbian, transitioned in your 30s. You guys got back together. And Megan, you were living that gay life.
Yes, I had only been with women. I was married to a woman.
All right. So find each other. We come back together.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson, you you tell Megan, I think I need to transition, and Megan, you are completely on board. What were your, do you want to share any feelings surrounding it or thoughts?
I didn't think about it like negatively. He's the same person. So that was more of like what my feeling was like, I don't care which either way, like if you're male or female or what's in your pants or whatever. That seems to be other people's hang up, not mine.
Yeah.
So we kind of went through that and I was like, okay, you do what you gotta do. I'm here. I'll support you.
Yeah, you're still you.
Yep, exactly.
You went through it together and you're going through it all together because obviously a transition doesn't happen in a day. It happens. Like we're always transitioning, no matter what kind of transition we're going through. So you're doing it together and it's not ruining your lives. How insane. How wild.
No, it's been great. I mean,
yes, this is what we need. More of this. It's great. It's been wonderful, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when did the talk of family building? And I want to talk about, Megan, how your disability plays into this and also all the ins and outs of your disability and the story there as well. So
yeah.
How did family building come into it? And let's dive.
So we have to go way back to start with family building. It wasn't like we got together and we're talking about family building. We were already talking about family building way before that had happened. Like, so
yes,
we were like, we were friends being like, okay, so if this happens, this is what we're going to raise our children together as friends. Like
backup plan.
Yeah.
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 After going through her marriage and stuff like that, she was a little shell-shocked, shall you say it?
Well, I did not want to get remarried. I was like, no.
Right.
Mainly because like my previous marriage was super toxic and it was just not a good situation.
Sorry.
It's okay. It happens. I was super young when I got married, so that's part of it.
And you got gay married.
Yeah, I got
super
gay married
young.
when I was 20.
Got a girl. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it just was not a good situation. And I got out finally. And that's, this one kind of helped. And he was supportive and like, okay, you can do this. Because I was very, very scared to be on my own because I literally had not been on my own before. I moved in, lived with my parents before I moved in with my ex. So like, I had never been on my own before.
Right. It's scary. It's huge.
And then adding a disability to the mix, there's more.
Yeah. Can we talk about that? And like, how long have you been living with it? Let's go into that because I think that they all are going to marry each other with the family building and all of this stuff, right?
So I have cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a from birth disability. So I've had cerebral palsy my entire life.
Yeah.
It is caused by lack of oxygen. At least for me, it was lack of oxygen at birth. I weighed 1.5 pounds when I was born.
Oh.
I was 3 months early.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, so there's definitely different varying degrees. For me, it affects me more physically than it does mentally or cognitively. I have trouble walking. My left side is a little, I say wonky, because I can move my left side. I'm not paralyzed or anything like that. It's harder to coordinate. If you have any questions about it, I can ask them.
Well, I have to say, I don't know much about cerebral palsy. So whatever you want to share about it, because I didn't even know it was always a from birth disability.
And I think you've had other guests that have had kids with CP.
Yes.
And that's the thing too, is it is categorized as a childhood disability.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of people have done the research to see how it affects you as an adult. So that's why I like to really talk about it as an adult, because people need to realize it doesn't go away. It's just something you have to live with and navigate. Again, for me, it affects me more physically. I use a walker, I use a wheelchair. But other than that, I'm completely fine. I don't know, like I need help every so often, and he's here to help me. And
you've lived a pretty rich and full life as well.
Right. I have a job, like I work full time. I'm in school full time also, and about to have a baby.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So,
and I haven't said congratulations yet. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
So enjoy these last moments.
Yep.
I'm so glad that you reached out and wanted to share your story, because I think that This is actually a really important discussion to have because we're talking about representation on more fronts than the things we normally talk about.
What I wanted to do is I was like, representation matters. Representation
Yes.
matters from an LGBTQ point of perspective. It matters from a disability point of perspective. Like, it matters. And
Yeah.
not a lot of people realize that we have kids. Like, people with disabilities have kids. People with disabilities have sex. People with disabilities get married. Like, you know, it's a thing.
Yeah. I want to hear all of the ins and outs of everything that has affected you up to this point and how you navigate this world that doesn't necessarily always see you
Oh, yeah.
as
for
a full
sure.
person, right?
For sure.
Or see that you can have as full of a life as you live.
I mean, I think I've gone through like a lot of that, but also I don't really pay attention to it. Because if I sit here and I pay attention to it, you know, it's going to affect me, my mental health. So I'm like, I can do whatever I want. I don't care what you say. And then like pregnancy wise, there was some fear about like that, not with getting pregnant, but with like people's perspective of me being pregnant, like from like a medical standpoint too. So we opted not to go the medical route.
Because you might have faced some like discrimination.
And the fact that it's super expensive and we're a middle class family that can't afford it.
Yeah, which is one of the terrible inequities that face our families. So let's talk about this. So you knew you wanted to have kids. How did you decide you wanted to go about it? What was the discussion?
Right. So we had a little bit of flip-flopping around a little bit. So at first we were like, we don't know how this is going to happen, but it's going to happen at some point.
Somehow.
So, yeah, my goal was to have, like, at least be pregnant by the time I was 30. I will be 31 when she's born.
Wow.
So, like,
did it.
January. So, we did it, yeah, after she's born. We did the whole internet thing where you look on the sites of, like, Make a Baby, the black market sperm.
Oh, yeah.
We did all that. And we were like...
Watch the documentaries.
Yeah, we watched the documentary of the sperm world, which is black market sperm, if you've ever seen it.
I've never seen it. I think I'm afraid to see it.
Yeah.
Should I not see it? Should I see it?
I mean, watch it, but it pertains to the
Black
show,
market
so I would definitely...
Like, I don't even know where to go on the interwebs to find black market sperm.
There's apps.
There are apps.
Yeah, he doesn't know either, because, like, I was the one looking at all this stuff.
Well, yeah, because when you want to have a baby and you don't have enough money to do it, and you know you need some sperm, right? You're going to find this stuff.
Yeah, there's an app called Let's Make a Baby.
Okay.
And that's where you get into all of, like, the nitty-gritty stuff of these men out there.
Like a dating app for...
sperm. And, like, you've got, I'm going to say weirdos, but weirdos that want, like, natural conception, so they want to have sex with you.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like, all of the other things. So, but we were kind of scared about that, because a lot of them wanted to co-parent. And we were like, we don't want you to be involved at all. So we were like, And then we had a friend offer to give us embryos that she has on ice. We were very, very close to doing that as well. So we were going to adopt these embryos and go that route. It is probably about half the price of IVF.
Right, because it's just the transfer portion. And you weren't going to have to pay for the embryos.
Right. But for us, that was still a lot of money to gamble. It was about $8,000, not including the fertility drugs.
Exactly. And you don't know if it's going to work.
Right. So we were like, I don't know. And you can only adopt 2 embryos at a time.
What?
So I think they said they had 7 on ice in storage, but the fertility clinic's paperwork only would let you do 2 at a time.
Because they think it's not ethical for you to get all 7. Like, what if you make 7 babies? Like, I don't know. Like, people are allowed to have 7 babies.
Yeah, I don't know. And they were like, well, if you guys don't use them, we're just going to donate them. Like,
right.
They're either going to be donated or destroyed. We don't want that to happen. So
Here
you go. If the at-home journey didn't work, we were definitely considering doing the adoption of embryos. But then I was like, hey, let's ask my friend. He's a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want children at all. I've known him for a long time. And I was like, hey, we want to have a baby. Can you can we use your sperm?
That was probably not an awkward conversation at all.
I texted it because I was afraid to get on the phone.
I love this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be super awkward.
Yeah. And
She
I
didn't even know how to go about having that conversation.
Right. So I sat there for like a week being like, I don't know how to ask this question. Do I just say it? Like, what do I do? After the fact, he told us he was in like the McDonald's line and read our text message and almost like dropped his phone because he was like, oh, sperm.
It's like supersize it. I don't know.
Yeah. So it was an awkward conversation. And then we had another conversation. We went to dinner with him and was like, okay, so like, we want to talk about this. How is everything going to work? Like, you know, we were freaking out because we're like, he's going to say no. Like, he hasn't given us an answer. Like,
and this is your friend too. So like, you don't want there to be any awkwardness moving forward if it's not something he's comfortable with. Like, there's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah. Like, I've known him for a while, but it's not like we're not like best of friends. Like, he's like an acquaintance friend that I've known forever. I knew he didn't want kids. And like, you know, he's part of the community. So I was like, he'll get it. Like, he understands. We had dinner with him. And the first thing he said was, he's like, I want you guys to know that I'm going to do this. We just have to hammer everything out.
Actually, the first thing he said, he walked in and there's a baby screaming behind us. And he goes, are you ready for that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then sat down and was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Oh my God. What did that feel like hearing that? That must have been like...
I thought my heart was going to jump out of my chest because I was like, okay.
And now there's so much to figure out.
We did the whole gay drafting thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this podcast has helped us figure all this out.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's what you do. You did what the queer folks before you did. Whoever you know. So how did it work out?
So we did the gay drafting thing. Someone gave me a contract from a lawyer that I then edited to like fit us, and had him, like, gave it to him and like had him read and all that. He wanted to contact a lawyer just to be sure like everything was like every T was crossed, I's were dotted, all of that.
Right.
We went about trying to contact a lawyer. Turns out lawyers in Florida are, again, hard to work with fertility.
Queer fertility or just fertility in general?
Both. I think it's hard to find a fertility lawyer, but when they hear queer fertility, it's worse.
Right.
The one that I finally contacted that agreed to do it, they didn't want to use my contract. They wanted to draft up a whole nother contract. So they just didn't want to review it. They wanted to do...
They wouldn't even like look at it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They wouldn't look at it. They wanted a whole new contract for every single sperm donation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So every month we were to do this, they wanted a whole nother contract. It was $900 per contract.
And they wanted to do it every deposit.
Yep.
Every sperm deposit, to be clear.
We quickly was like, that's not going to work. We have money, but we don't have that money.
No.
And they wanted him to have a separate lawyer. So they were going to represent us. They wanted him to find a different lawyer to represent him. And I was like, we're not going to go to court. Like, this is not what this...
We have a contract. We know it worked for this family. We have tailored it to us. We have done due diligence and really thought this through and talked about it, I'm assuming.
Right.
And you know what the parameters are, and you've talked to donor.
Right.
And donor's on board. So we did it for you. Here it is. Just do the filing or whatever. I don't even know. I speak in such technical terms on this show.
What we wound up doing was we scrapped that idea to get the lawyers involved. And he was like, just let's go over it again and we'll change anything we have to change and we'll get it notarized. So we did that. We got the contract notarized and everything. And then we moved on to phase 2, which was in-home insemination.
Whew. Okay, wait. So all you have to do, I thought you had to go like file it with a court. You just have to get a contract notarized?
Yeah, there's no baby yet, so
this is just like an agreement between people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a notarized agreement between people. So it will hold up in a court if one of you decides to sue the other.
Now that is questionable.
Because you're in Florida.
Yes. So that's where like pre-birth orders come in and like adoption paperwork. We do plan to get a step-parent adoption done.
Uh-huh.
Because we are married, so we don't need to do second-parent adoption.
Oh, you don't?
No. Step-parent adoption is enough, which is way easier than second-parent adoption.
And this is kind of a new development that in some states is an option, because that wasn't an option for us. Not that I know of. I'm not sure. This is why everybody needs to do the research in your state, find out what are the parameters in your state and what will hold up in a court should SHIT hit the fan.
Yeah.
God forbid. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but right.
Because he doesn't want rights, or he doesn't want to be involved at all. Like
he doesn't want to pay child support.
Right. Child support, I think, has scared him more than anything.
I get it.
Please don't. And we were worried because I was like, hey, this is our child. I don't want you taking our child. And he's like, oh no, I don't want to pay child support. Like, don't worry about me taking the baby. Like, child support is what I'm worried about. I was like, we're not going to ask you for any kind of child support.
He was okay with being the gay uncle, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
We've asked him if he wanted, because we have a Google photo album that we've uploaded pictures to. I'm like, do you want the album? Because we'll give it to you. He's like, no. Like, okay, that's fine.
And it's not real yet because baby's not here, right? So it's all kind of in symbolism in your heads at this point.
Which is so weird because Florida is a very pro-life state, but nothing goes into effect until the baby is actually here.
Interesting. That doesn't seem to add up, does it?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so you have this agreement. He's on board. He doesn't want to pay child support, and he doesn't really want to be responsible for the child.
At all.
Right.
And that was really what we wanted. That's why I was like, hey, I think this will be a good idea because he doesn't want to be involved at all. Because at first he was like, why do you want me? And I was like, well, you're part of the community and you don't want children.
Right. But you still plan to have somewhat of a relationship with him.
As much as he wants.
Right.
Which
he can be around.
Will be very limited.
Right.
We're okay with her. The baby is a girl. We're okay with her knowing him and things like that. But really, we're playing on his field when it comes to this because he is very adamant about wanting nothing to do with the child. So we're like, okay, that's fine. I mean,
and this is not to say, just for listeners out, this is not to say that you're not going to raise this child knowing how she was conceived.
Oh yeah, she'll definitely know.
I just want to throw that out there so everybody. It's not like there's going to be secrets here. No,
we've definitely talked about dropping seeds. She'll definitely know who he is.
I love that you use all the terms. I love this. Gotta drop those seeds. So they pick them up.
She'll definitely know who he is. I've struggled with how we're going to go about that. Because obviously Grayson is her dad. Number one, that's her dad. That's who she's going to know as dad. Having this other guy here that's oh, this is your donor. Fine. But for her to make that connection, we'll see how all that goes.
Children's books. Children's books. There's so many books.
We've got a couple. So
yeah. That's the easy way in. And then there are other ways too. But, babies, they get it. They'll figure it out. For me, the scariest part with the known donor idea was managing the relationship between donor and us and how things could possibly change as we grow. Because as we know, we change as we grow and transitions are constant. And that's the one thing that scared me the most.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also can be such a beautiful thing. And the relationships that are formed can be the most profound, amazing relationships.
Sure.
So the sky's the limit with this. And it's so beautiful and it's so exciting. And it's great that you're doing all of the things and you're having all the conversations. You have to do that, obviously. But it's really exciting.
It is. It's very exciting.
Yeah. He was very off-put by me when he first met me.
What do you mean?
Because he thought I was a cisgender man.
Yeah.
So,
we were having dinner with another friend and he was there, and he'd only known me to be with women before. So I show up with Grayson and he's a very flamboyant person. So he was acting all macho and weird. I'm like, what is going on with you?
Your friend was?
Yeah.
The donor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so because you're with a dude.
Right.
Yeah. Her friend's husband, I've become friends with them too, but our friend, he was we were joking, over this dinner. We mentioned that, mine was tofu compared to his real meat. And our donor was what? And I'm like, I'm transgender. Like, and he's like, what?
And then
No.
his whole demeanor changed. Like, he was like, oh my God, I had no idea.
He's like, okay, I can be me. And also, now I understand why you need me.
Right.
Well,
right.
this is before.
This is very, a while before that had become a conversation.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So him and I had met through like disability events. So that was, obviously he was okay with the fact that I had a disability. That had become like not center focused, but it was like a concern of mine, being like, oh, if we don't find either a clinic or a donor or what have you that is okay with my disability, this is probably not going to happen, because I don't want to sit here and fight people.
Right. Even though a donor who wants nothing to do with the child, like,
because you're judged regardless. Like, people are going to judge my ability to take care of a child.
Right.
And they don't even know me.
People are going to just deem you unfit.
Right.
From the get-go.
Right.
Right.
That was a concern. I was a little afraid of that.
Yeah. And you're just facing discrimination. Like, you're just like walking in there worried about discrimination.
Right. Right. Luckily, I have my OB. It was my GYN for years. So, like, she knew me, so we had a relationship, and that's what I wanted, because I was like, this lady knows me, versus someone that doesn't know me that could easily pass judgment and easily be like, I don't think you can do this.
Right.
But we did, leading up to insemination and leading up to getting pregnant, we tested my ovulation for a year before we decided to move forward.
You tested, like, home tested, or you did it through? Okay, so
we
you really
home tested for a year.
We tracked it.
Yeah, because you're doing this you were doing this at home.
Right, we were doing it on our own.
So you got to do some work here, right?
We tracked my ovulation for a year before we went ahead and did it. And then we did it. We inseminated twice in the same month and got pregnant in the same month, first try.
What? Good job.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that.
Holy no, you don't expect that.
Like, we were not. We were just like, we've got to start somewhere, so let's start like this month. And our truck broke down that day, so we had to buy a whole nother vehicle that day as well. So.
Oh, whoa. Wow, you bought a car and you made a baby in the same day.
Exactly.
Wait. Was he coming over and like making a deposit, and then you were just taking it and going in the other room and doing it? Or did you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did he deposit it into? Can I ask? What was the vessel?
So we used Frida Fertility.
Yes. Let's talk about this.
Yes. So I know you know what Mosey Baby is.
I do.
It is the same thing, just by a different company.
Yeah, and at-home fertility kit.
Right. Yeah. And it's much cheaper.
Insemination kit, I should say. Yes, I have heard of Frida Fertility as well. And everybody at home needs to know that it's an option. So let's talk about that.
And I don't want to knock Mosey Baby, because when I first wanted to get pregnant, which was with my ex, that's what we were going to use. Mm-hmm. We didn't go that route. Thank God. Just
it could have been messy. Yeah. Not because of Mosey Baby, it just could have been messy.
And also, at that time, Mosey Baby was a lot cheaper than it is now. Things are changing and things are going up. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that Mosey Baby is about $100 for 2 syringes and a collection cup. Frida Fertility is only $50 for 2 syringes and a collection cup.
Wow, so like half the price.
Yeah, and it's literally the same thing.
Huh.
Just one is FDA approved, and then I don't think Frida Fertility is.
Huh.
So
I wonder what that discrepancy is.
No idea, but they're literally the same.
It's the same because you've seen them both.
Yeah. They're just syringes. So we bought one and we used both syringes and it worked. So
amazing! And you bought a car.
Yeah, the same day.
Congratulations. And then you're like, holy shiz, we're pregnant. That was not really going to happen that way.
About 2 weeks later, we were at a wedding. I came home. I kept saying, I was like, I'm going to get my period. I don't think I'm pregnant because I'm cramping and my boobs hurt. And he's like, every time I would say something like that, he's like, no, it's because you're pregnant. Like every time. And then, so finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a test. And I did. It was a very faint line. I was like, babe, you better get in here. I think this is positive.
Oh,
So
Oh
he
my
like
God.
runs into the bathroom and he's like, well, we got to get more. So like we ordered more. We Instacarted more tests. I'm pretty sure the Instacart person was like, what the hell is going on here?
I was waiting outside for the test. Yeah.
You know what? I bet you the Instacart person has seen multiple pregnancy tests multiple times.
I'm sure he's
Right.
had to buy other things.
So
too.
Yeah.
We had to, we did that and they were all positive. So I was like, okay, we're pregnant.
Holy shit. So, okay, so you're pregnant, and had you told your doctor that you were going to do this?
Yeah, we did a preconception appointment beforehand.
Okay.
Just
that's
because
good to
I
know.
wanted to make sure like I was A-okay
Mhm.
to do everything before I did it. Because I didn't want to put myself in jeopardy, trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
So, and they were like, yeah, you're healthy. There's no
Right.
other,
Ready to
you're
go.
of age to be fertile. So
Yeah.
try it. Now, with that and with my CP, because I was like, okay, so does this mean I need a C-section? Does this mean like
Right.
I can deliver vaginally? So with my CP, all of my muscles are extremely tight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of spasticity, which is pretty much where you're tight and then you can't let go. Like, so some people can't like grip things or they can't like move very well. I can, so I'm not very spastic, but that doesn't mean like my muscles aren't super tight compared to someone that doesn't have CP.
Because there are varying degrees and completely different.
I'm very lucky. I can talk, walk, eat, that sort of thing. Some people can't. I was like, okay, I think the safest thing for me would be to have a C-section. And they were like, cool, okay, we'll do that. So I didn't get any pushback. They said I could try to have a vaginal delivery if I wanted to. I am terrified of the baby getting stuck because my muscles are so tight. So I was like,
Right.
No.
Yeah, we had discussed it too.
Yeah, because it would have been it would have been very, very hard.
Yeah, and having to push a baby out.
Right.
Mm.
And I have experienced a lot of difficulties that probably the average pregnant person doesn't experience. Like, I'm experiencing all of the pregnancy symptoms, but on a greater scale. So, like, for instance, my round ligament pain is worse because it's a tendon. So my tendons are tighter than most people. So now they're stretching. It hurts. It's pretty,
That sounds painful.
Yeah. And then I've having some pelvic problems because, again, my body is so used to being in one position that it's moving into another one. So that is pretty painful.
When your body is tight and rigid, it's very hard to change that.
Right. Exactly. My body doesn't change. So like right now, like it comes and goes, but like, I don't know if anybody's mentioned SPD.
I don't.
It's symphysis pelvic dysfunction.
What is? Wait, can
So
no,
it's
what is this?
basically when you're pregnant, the cartilage that keeps your two halves of your pelvis together loosens so the baby can come out. And mine has loosened, but again, my body is not used to that. My body's used to being super tight. So each side of my pelvis is shifting when I move around, and it
Right.
hurts. Like, it's not comfortable at all.
Right.
So it's caused a lot of pain. And like some days I can't, it's hard to stand up. It's hard to move around. So far, I've been really pushing myself to not use my wheelchair because I want to stay active. And they're like, you need to stay active. You need to stay active. And
Oh,
I'm
they
like,
say that?
well, like, yeah. I'm like, well, I can stay active as I can. I mean, I'm not as active as the average person. It's been quite the journey. We have decided that I am not getting pregnant again. This will be my only pregnancy.
I was going to ask.
I was all for it. I wanted multiple children. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to love pregnancy. This is going to be great. And then, we're here and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this again.
Yeah, you don't know what it's going to be like before. And this is regardless of having a disability or not having. You don't know.
Yeah, you have no idea
what it's going to be like. I thought I was going to be, and this is different. I'm not trying to compare my road to yours, but like, I thought I was going to be like Mother Earth, rubbing my belly, like loving. I hated every second of pregnancy and I was so miserable. But that's not what I expected to happen, right?
Were
you
you
just
like,
don't know.
Were you miserable in the sense of like morning sickness and symptoms? Or?
For the first two, I was nauseous the whole time, like 24/7, constantly nauseous. And then the third trimester, the nausea was away. All I ate my whole pregnancy was cereal, one kind of cereal. That's it. That's all I could eat. I was just like, I didn't feel good.
I was lucky I didn't get any morning sickness.
Well, good.
Yeah, I really
You deserve that.
I was very skeptical in my first trimester. I was like, am I really pregnant? Is this really happening? Because nothing feels different. Like everything feels the same. I don't feel pregnant. Second trimester rolls around. I start getting all of the symptoms I should have gotten the first trimester.
Yes, because we don't know how our bodies are going to react to growing life, right? I mean, that's true for everyone.
And that's another thing too, is like women's healthcare, and like it sucks to be honest. Like women's healthcare is not great. I mean, every time I've come up with a concern, they're like, "Oh, it's normal."
No,
I'm like,
I know.
Are you sure it's normal?
What they mean by that is there actually aren't any studies done because you have a uterus.
Right.
That's what they mean. Sorry, my dog is chewing.
Oh, it's okay.
Stop, Kira. OMG. Sorry.
What did she chew up?
My calendar that I had taken off the wall.
No.
Are you like you? I can't believe you.
That's all right. Our dog has eaten a pair of his Ray-Bans.
Oh, this dog has eaten 3 pairs of Anne's glasses.
Oh my God.
Like 5 remotes.
Oh, goodness.
You got a problem. You got a problem.
Oh.
Now
I'm
she's looking at me
surprised
like,
ours is being so well behaved over here, to be honest.
She's like, you know what it is? She's waiting for the dog walker. And she's like, where is she?
Sure. Yeah.
She should be here.
So she's rebelling,
She is. She's letting me know. Okay, sorry.
No,
Continue.
it's fine.
We're talking about healthcare for folks whose body contains a uterus being non-existent.
So every time something happens or whatever, they're like, it's normal. And I'm like, are you sure this is normal for me? Like,
right.
Because again, not very many people with CP or disabilities in general are having babies.
Right.
Or at least like that are like out there and public about it because they're afraid that their kids are going to get taken away.
Ooh, yeah, that's a whole other aspect to this. Because I think people with CP probably are having children.
I know multiple people with disabilities that have kids. They just don't.
But the fear that surrounds it must outweigh so much, and studies.
Exactly.
And how are you going to get the studies? Right.
Right. And I've had like weird pregnancy symptoms. Like I'm having nosebleeds and apparently that is normal. Like apparently that is a hormonal thing. And I'm just like, okay.
That's not fun.
I'll sit here and have a nosebleed for 5 minutes.
Don't mind me. I'm just pregnant. Like,
right. So like things like that.
And
it's freaked him out enough to where like he's like, are you sure we don't need to go to the hospital?
Yeah. How are you doing, Grayson? Are you scared? Like, do you get worried?
I mean, there have been a few times where I do worry because like I have like over an hour commute to work. So, if something happens to her, like, I tell her, I'm like, hey, my wallet, my keys are in my pocket. Like, I don't leave them in my lunch bag like I used to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, just call my work, tell them that you need me to go to the hospital,
Yeah. And you'll be right there.
We've had a few scary moments where, like, she's, fallen. One time she, like, fell out of bed and, like, landed on her belly. She was laughing and she was in good spirits.
I was okay because I was like, okay, I don't think I'm hurt. But he was like, let's go to the hospital just to make sure. And I get that. Like, that's not, I won't ever like fault him for that if he wants to.
No. And also, I just want to add, like, that can happen to anyone who's pregnant too. Like for anybody to, like, I don't want people to think, well, she's falling. She has a disability and she's falling. No, that happened. My wife fell down the stairs when she was pregnant and fell on her stomach, right? Like it happens.
I probably fall more than the average person because my balance is off, but like I tend to fall safely, if that means anything to anybody. Like I do, I'm pro, I've been falling my entire life. I know how to fall. So like now it's protecting my belly versus, and like we plan to do things to make it a little more accessible when the baby is here versus like we're going to have to do a lot more like renovating and MacGyvering of things and things like that to make it more accessible for me to have her and be able to take care of her and things like that. But it's not impossible. Like
You can, yeah, it can
people
be
seem to
done.
think it's impossible, and it's not. It's really not. And
No.
kids are very adaptable. Like they figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's anything that you can garner from even just all the stories on this podcast, just about queer families and how people would say that child's going to be so derelict because it's not going to have a father, or that child's going to be so. No, children, if there's anything we know, as
Right.
queer families, we know that children adapt and children can grow up in environments that are not your average norm. I'm doing quote unquote here, average, normal situation. No, children can learn to thrive.
I've thought about it like that. Like she's got a triple whammy. Like 1, she's a girl until she tells us otherwise, if she tells us otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
2, like she has a mom with a disability. 3, like we're a queer family and she's going to know that. Like we're not
Right.
going to hide that from her. So like she's going to have all of these things and like she's got to learn to navigate things too, and like that it's going to be okay, and it's okay that we are the way we are, and you know.
Yeah. And she's going to grow up with a lot of empathy
Right.
and a lot of understanding.
Right.
You got this. You've come this far. You have made this happen. It's pretty remarkable. It's amazing. It's intentional AF.
It really is. Granted, we didn't know we were going to get pregnant so soon, but yes, it's very intentional.
It's so intentional. And you did that, Shiz. I want to hear how your journey pans out, because this is really just, it's been a long beginning, but this is the beginning.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad you reached out to share this story. And I wish you all the luck in the world down there in Florida.
Well, thank you. We don't
And-
plan to stay here forever.
No.
So that's
Well, it would be nice to live in a world where we could live, in
Yeah.
a country where we could live comfortably in any state.
right.
That would be nice. So maybe that will happen sooner than later. Who knows?
Hope so.
But this has been awesome. And I wish you a nice, chill rest of your pregnancy and a very smooth birth. And
Thank
then a
you.
smooth transition into parenthood, because that's a transition, y'all. Get ready.
Yeah, we're here for it. We're excited. So, all
I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for joining.
right. Thank you.
Queer Family Podcast.
Whew. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, feel free to listen to another or watch another. I have so many episodes for your listening or viewing pleasure. Just go pick one and enjoy. There's a lot. There really is. And also, if you really do like this show, please, I know I say it all the time, but please do consider supporting the show on Patreon. You're just going to go to patreon.com/The Queer Family Podcast. You're going to pick a tier, you're going to join, and you're going to get that bonus content. And you're also going to get my love and adoration for the rest of my life. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Keep on tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.